Hey y'all, it's Alicia. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back and happy Sunday to you. If you're new here, this is such a great time to be coming on because many of us have wrapped up our collab projects and we have wrapped up a lot of our swaps, and as things calm down here on YouTube, people's personal lives during the holidays ramp up. And it wasn't by accident. Many of us thought about that and how the holiday season, although it's joyful, can also be really stressful because our appointment book fills up with things to do. We have presents to wrap, drop-ins to attend, people to see. Yeah, the holiday season is very busy. So right now it's a more quiet time here on YouTube because everybody's got so much going on in their day-to-day lives that a lot of the collabs have wrapped up. There is a fabulous, actually there's two collabs still running right now. There's a 24 Days of Christmas that I'm really enjoying. I thought it was such a great idea, this idea of opening up one little gift every day for all of December. And there's a wonderful card collab that's going around that is just wonderful, making cards from stashes and using up our scraps, which I'm a huge fan of, right? What do we do with the leftover paper? And Susan Tootsie Tucker has inspired a lot of us to really stick with no paper left behind. And I do my best to use up every little bit of scrap that I can. I've gotten much better at measuring so that I use up like a full sheet when I use it. And that's exciting. Now, speaking of Miss Susan Tootsie Tucker, it's her birthday weekend, folks. It is indeed. Happy birthday, Susan. Happy birthday. Susan, as you know, is one of our most innovative makers. She can make anything out of a pipe cleaner. She's a lot like Jelly Bean that way. It's funny, they have a very different making aesthetic, but Susan can take a look at a used bottle cap and be like, I think those should be earrings. Or maybe I'm gonna take this old box that I found in my drawer and I'm gonna turn that into a shadow box ornament that lights up. She sees craft projects in objects that are not always related to crafting and has really been very innovative and showing us, at least, especially for myself when I didn't have my crafting supplies, that we can make things from everyday objects. And I love watching her videos. And I also love that she's been crafting with her bestie. And I know my bestie has really enjoyed watching Susan and her bestie and thinks it's such a wonderful thing that they share. And y'all know my bestie made her first craft project ever this week, and that was really nice. And I think that when she comes down, she's going to want to do that card making we talked about because she actually found it very relaxing and fun. So, Susan, we wish for you an amazing birthday. You are a great member of this community. You're one of the first people to bring to our attention how difficult it was to get supplies in Puerto Rico. You are incredibly supportive of all sorts of crafters, not just myself, all sorts of crafters from all different styles and disciplines from all over the world. You really give a lot to this community. And that's in addition to those beautiful cards you make for your church. That's in addition to all of the Bone series that we fell in love with this fall. We're just very blessed to have you. And you're a wonderful cheerleader. Through the last couple of months, I've really appreciated all of your support and all of your well wishes and prayers, and it meant a lot to me. So happy birthday, Susan. I hope that you have the most amazing birthday weekend. I hope you feel super celebrated and loved and appreciated, not just here, but in every aspect of your life. And I know you have a lot of family around you, which makes me happy. And I bet you that I saw the flowers that you posted on Instagram and they were beautiful. So clearly you are very much loved in your everyday life, just as you are here in your YouTube community. Folks, it's a big birthday month. Lisa made New to Create. It's also her birthday weekend. She had her birthday this week, and Letitia reminded me because she knew I was traveling. Thank you, Letitia. I need to do a calendar here like I have in New York and set that up. That's on my crafty list for this week. But we had a whole bunch of birthdays in the last 4 weeks, and I'm way behind on my birthday boxes. Way behind. And I apologize, folks. It's just because of what happened in life, and I had an obligation to the collaborations first. But I have not forgotten, like we had Lauren Cunningham celebrated her birthday, Judy celebrated her birthday, Ara celebrated her birthday, Lily celebrated her birthday, Lisa made New to Create celebrated her birthday, and Susan Tootsie Tucker. So we have all sorts of birthdays, and I'm sure I forgot 1 or 4 more birthdays in there. We had a whole bunch of birthdays. So I have a little listy list, and even though I'm way behind, I'm just going to keep working through it. It may arrive by Valentine's Day. We all know I'm a slow maker. But it's better that I'm slow than I rush, right? And that the work actually reflects care and thought and effort and a little bit of crafty sweat. So that's exciting. That's my first bit of news, I have some good news to share. So, a few months ago, I drew your attention to a lovely lady, Heavenly Imaginings, and I was so impressed because, as you all know, I live with autoimmune disease. It's a chronic illness. It's a pain in the you-know-what, and Miss Pat has been so wonderful about sharing about her MS, and then Judy came up and she says, yep, I got autoimmune too, and it's been wonderful. We've had this opportunity to have open discourse about what it's like living with a chronic illness that sometimes has some really difficult and sometimes just annoying challenges. And Heavenly Imaginings had spent 5 months in the hospital, and instead of just saying, oh, well, I'm stuck here for 5 months, this woman just fought her way through. And I'm not kidding. And I mean, fight is a word I'm choosing carefully. And that's just because she had to come up with innovative ways to do physio. Yay for chair yoga. I keep telling my mama that chair yoga is the way to go. See, Mom, if you're watching, chair yoga. I mean, that's not just good for your body. It's good for your mind and your soul. Who wouldn't benefit from chair yoga? But Heavenly Imaginings also crafted her way through this. And I liked that. I watched her video today and I was smiling. I was also a little frustrated for her. And if you watched her video, you'll understand why I say that. But I was smiling because she talked about how crafting is the thing that helps her work through this. But it's also sometimes the thing that takes away the last bit of energy she has. And I think that's often true for people living with chronic illness. For me, the joy I get from making something for someone far outweighs whatever it takes from my energy level, because it's such a happy process that, yeah, it fills my well more than it depletes it. But everybody has a different challenge. And when you have illnesses that affect your hands or your motility, then it can be really tough to do crafting. I gotta tell you, when I looked at Pat's pocket letter that she sent me, it was so moving to me because I know that I have some motility hand issues, as you all know from last year, but nothing compared to what Miss Pat deals with. And her pocket letter was so detailed and so meticulously done. And I know that was really hard for her to do. I know that. And so I looked at it and I was like, this is so meaningful. I know that she must have worked at this a little bit at a time, very carefully. And I know at times it must have been painful for her. So I hope she knows that the gift she gave me wasn't just this beautiful pocket letter, and it was beautiful. It was clean and simple design, but it is stunning, stunning pocket letter. And I loved her palette. But it was also, I knew how hard she had worked to make it. And it meant so much to me. So Heavenly Imaginings came on today with this great video and explained that how hard she's worked these last 5 months. She is finally at a point where they may let her go home for the holidays. And how amazing is that? So first of all, congratulations to you for working that hard. Congratulations for having that kind of success. And congratulations for reaching those goals, those benchmarks that you needed to reach in order to get home. Now, y'all, I know we don't all make cards. I'm still learning to make cards. And some people just don't make cards at all. It's just not their thing. But I'm thinking that it might be nice for Heavenly Imagining to come home and find some cards waiting for her, because she talked a bit about something that made a lot of sense to me. Can you imagine spending 5 months in a hospital, or 6 months, and you're constantly around people? There's nurses
It's
coming
12
in,
o'clock.
There's our man. There's nurses coming in and out. There's machines beeping. There's aides coming in to change things and to check lines. And when you go home to like sudden silence. And that could be really like a bit jarring. And I was thinking to myself, oh, you know what you can do? You can watch videos. You can binge watch people you haven't had a chance to watch while you're in the hospital. Have videos running, watch tutorials, learn new crafting techniques. That'll help a bit to fill that silence. But I was also thinking that it might be nice to come home to a bunch of cards, because that way you feel celebrated. Like, it's a big deal that you worked this hard to get home. And I wonder how you're going to mark the success of this. And I was thinking maybe cards would do it, folks. Now, again, I know it's the holiday season. Everyone's super busy. I know that. But maybe we could find time to make a card to send off to Heavenly Imagining to say congratulations and welcome home. If you have the time, that would be wonderful. And I bet you she'd really appreciate it. I'm linking her channel down below. If you feel like you can make a card to send to her, please contact her, because I don't have her home address to share. She was gracious enough to share her hospital address, but the odds are, because she lives down under, that by the time you make the card and send it, she will be home. So you'll need her home address to send it to. So I will put Heavenly Imaginings channel down below, And that way you can contact her directly to get her home address if you'd like to send her a card. Just thinking it's a nice way to mark, the end of a momentous journey. Almost 6 months of fighting to go home. And she did it. Congratulations. You should be really proud of yourself. Those are very hard benchmarks to hit. So that's another piece of good news. And what did I do this morning? Well, y'all, I said I had to revisit embossing because it's been so long. So I went and watched myself a slew of videos on ink embossing, heat embossing, all different kinds of embossing. And I got to tell you, at first I was talking back to the videos. I was like, okay, you're a precise maker like my friend Carmen. Come on. There's no way I'm going to be that neat. I'm going to have clumps of embossing powder, or I'm going to have not enough here, and there's going to be these gaping holes. And so I kept watching these videos where these people were perfect at it. And I was like, this is not helpful. This is not helpful. And finally, I came across a video by a woman who's like, I'm a messy maker. And I was like, this is for me. And she showed how when she first does it, it smudges everywhere. And then how she removes that with a brush. And then how sometimes she doesn't use enough powder or she has to redo it. And I was like, this is fantastic, because this gave me some helpful hints or hacks to help me fix when I make a mistake when I'm embossing. So that was super useful. I'm definitely going to try. That's on my Crafty Aspiration list, which I'm starting to make today. Basically, that's a list of all the things that I want to learn how to make this year, and that's my goal list. And I hope you all are also working on Crafty Aspiration lists. So for me, y'all know Carnage and I are not yet friends. Maybe at the end of this year, we will be friends. Maybe with tons of practice, I too will learn to make a beautiful box, or maybe not as beautiful a suitcase as Lily built, because folks, I looked at that thing 10, 12 times already, and it's perfection. But maybe I'll learn how to make a little bag. Heavenly Imaginings innovated this great little gym bag while she was in the hospital. And I was like, okay, I got to give this a shot. Plus, I don't want that situation to ever reoccur where I'm somewhere where I don't have access to boxes for shadow boxes. If I do cartonnage, I can make my own. So I think it's about time this girl got over her fear of cartonnage and actually took that on. But the other thing I'm going to add to my Crafty Aspiration list is sewing. And thankfully, my friend Carmen, hey Carmen, we're going to do this journey together. We're going to fumble our way through sewing together. She already has her sewing machine set up. Oh yes, Carmen is very proactive. So she has her machine set up and she is ready to go. And we've made a pinky pact that we are going to learn how to sew. And we're going to help each other and fumble our way through it together, because I want to be able to sew on ephemera. I love what Lily does. I think it adds such beautiful texture. I love when Alice does it. I love when Alicia does it. I love when Ara does it. Plus, how am I going to make those shaker memdexes if I can't sew? So I may break a needle or two in the process, but I'm going to learn how to sew this year. At some point, if you get a little Happy Mail package from me, it's going to contain those pretty little zigzags, even if I break 10 needles learning how to do it. Because y'all know I'll prototype and practice until I get it down. And I like that about my spirit. I know it might take me 10 times before I even get a straight line. That's okay. I'll just keep working at it a little bit at a time. Not for a swap, not for a design team project, not for a collab, but on my own, slowly, a little bit every day. That's how I got better at die cutting those delicate little die things. It was the same thing. I would just practice every day until I got better. So that's a piece of news. I'm hoping that you are all working on your Crafty Aspiration lists, because I think it's fun to have goals like that to set for ourselves. And maybe this week we'll do a share where we tell each other what our Crafty Aspiration lists are. I think that would be wonderful. And what a great way to hold each other sort of semi-accountable. Okay, you said you wanted to learn how to do this. Don't be afraid. Embrace the fear and go with it. And that's what we're about here. We're about supporting one another. So if there's something you really want to try to learn how to do this year, I hope you share it here, and I hope we can encourage you and champion you as you learn how to do it. That's what I hope. I am so happy to be back, so happy to be able to watch your videos, so happy to be able to celebrate all the birthdays that we've had. And yes, there are some strange little packages that have been arriving, sometimes out of order. Heather got her lips from Allie, and they were supposed to come at the same time as 2 other things, which would have made more sense to her if she'd gotten them all together, and then she would have known why I sent them to her. But she got them separately. You're right, they are for Valentine's Day, but they are meant to go with a couple of other things that should be arriving at your door soon. And Miss Judy did get her little package of nice list stuff. That's not her birthday package. That's still sitting in my other room. Not quite yet finished, because I have yet to go to a Tuesday morning. I'm going to do that this week to haul the prize packs for both challenges, and also to find some paper for Miss Judy, because as y'all know, she lives like 12, 15 hours away from any other store, and she doesn't have access to the kind of paper that's sold at Tuesday Morning. Not even that she doesn't have access to it being sold at those prices, she just doesn't have access. So I want to go see if I can find some paper that suits her aesthetic, because she makes beautiful books, folks, and beautiful projects. And wouldn't it be nice if I could include in her box some special paper that she doesn't have access to? That's my hope. Let's hope they still have some. Carmen's Tuesday Morning is always much better than mine. So keep your fingers crossed for us, y'all. Keep your fingers crossed. And I think that's all my crafty news for this Sunday. You know, for me, it's a planning day. It's also maybe a beach day. I might go and sit by the ocean and think about all my crafty aspirations and get a little sunshine. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being patient with me. Again, I am grateful for each and every one of you. I did catch up on a bunch of comments, not all, but a bunch. And if it was your birthday week this week and I didn't know, well, I wish you a very happy birthday week. I really do. I hope you do something that makes you feel celebrated. And for the rest of us, happy Sunday, y'all. Happy Sunday.